Alright, ladies and gentlemen, this is the BBG. I downloaded a game called Taoists about a month ago because I don't know about you guys, but I have a somewhat of an interest in cultivation novels, if you can tell by my name in the top left corner. Props to the person who manages to comment the novel that one's from. It's pretty obscure. But if you have downloaded this game, then you are probably a fan of anything cultivation, Taoist, Tao, etc. And I looked through YouTube and I really couldn't find anything at all on this game that was useful information. So I decided, you know what, I've already got 100 plus videos on YouTube. I thought I'd delve into the mobile game. So the start screen of Taoist, it looks incredibly overwhelming. Honestly, like as soon as you log in, you're just given this huge interface and there's very little instruction on what to do. So this is by no means a professional guide. This is just a guy who enjoys it, explaining how it works, basically. So we're going to start from the bottom left and work our way right. And this is going to be the pre-ascendance video, because there's a whole different interface after you ascend to heaven, as they say. So in the bottom left, we've got your spiritual root. Anyone who's ever read cultivation novels knows you're born with a spiritual root. It's either awesome, good talent, or it's terrible and trash, and then they overcome it and become godlike. We're pretty much trash to begin with. It literally says terrible to begin with. And you have to level it up by getting ki. Everyone knows what ki is, let's be honest. Anyone who's watching this probably knows what ki is anyway. And you have to spend your stored ki to level up your spirit root. And you gain more ki by upgrading your ki gathering array. Now that's going to require wood and iron, but we will get to how you acquire wood and iron later, because we have to take this slowly in order for everyone to fully understand. So each of the gold, wood, water, fire and earth will give you different skills. Now each of these different skills gives you different things. We're going to quickly go into looking into ignore what you just saw there. We're just going to look at life essence, strength, vital energy and dexterity. Now each one corresponds directly across to the right. Life essence is attack. Strength is defense, vital energy is health, dexterity is the amount of times you can dodge, or the percentage chance you can dodge. It can't go higher than 50%, I'm afraid. But perception is how much efficiency you can get. And efficiency is important, and we'll get to why that's important in a moment. So back to spiritual root. Gold. What does gold give you? I don't even... So each of the aspects of the spiritual root will give you different stats based on what level it is, basically. The higher the level, the more stats it will give you. They're incredibly important. You can't neglect them if you ever want to get anywhere in this game. Now, I am largely free to play. I haven't spent money. I am, by and large, an average player, to be honest with you. But your most important ones are going to be your gold and your wood. The reason for this is because gold gives you perception and absorption, and wood gives you absorption. Those two are absolutely critical for generating ki and increasing your efficiency in order to cultivate faster. Everyone knows cultivating faster is important. So now we're going to go on to skill. Skill is another, quite a massive interface. From the top left, Sect skills, heavenly skills, ultimate skills, secret tomes, heavenly books, physical spells, sutra, shift skill, mantra. Underneath it, you can see that it basically corresponds to stat increases. Life essence for secret tomes, perception for heavenly books, strength, physical spell, vital energy, etc. At the bottom, you can see your total bonus for all of these skills. Now, for Sect skills, we will get there. You've got to join a sect in order to gain good skills, basically. But we'll get there. Your heavenly book is your efficiency skill books. These are rare as hell. If you're a free-to-play, you will struggle. You will struggle to get these books because Spirit Jade is, my God, it's rare. There's no young geniuses to rob because they underestimated you. There's no face slapping and amazing skills you can find unless you manage to luck out on having an immortal leave a skill with you pray for it. But we'll get to that later. So each of these skills will basically boost your stats. Again, very important. Can't neglect them. Got to level them. They go to 10. That's your max, and then you've got to find more. Now you get skills. We're gonna quickly go up to the top here, up to market, and across to sutras. Sutras are where you get your stats, or at least where you get the start of your stats. You will need as many as you can get, but with that being said, spirit stones are also, which is at the top. You got your yellow spirit stones and you got spirit jade underneath that. Spirit jade, premium currency, pay to win. You know the drill. If you pay money, you have an easier time. But if you pay money and you get the wrong things at the wrong time, you're wasting your money. So sutras, everything up to 5,000 spirit stones is absolutely worth buying. 100% worth buying. The 30,000 ones are only worth getting if you have a massive surplus of spirit stones because they're incredibly expensive. I mean, 30,000 is huge when you only make, if you're lucky, like 1,000 an hour, maybe 2. Because once you reach a certain level, you're allowed to go upstairs. When you first start, you won't be allowed to go upstairs. You'll be limited to these 500 spirit stone ones. After you're able to go upstairs, it'll increase in level up to, 100,000 pre-ascendance. That is a huge amount of spirit stones, and I haven't even bothered getting them because the reason for this is if you click search, you go into this interface where you have to help or rob one of these peoples. So if you help them, they will give you a random choice of 2 of these sutras on the level that you search. But to begin with, you can only search the first level. You need a certain level of benevolence. It doesn't tell you how much benevolence you'll need, because benevolence is gained from like random encounters and stuff like that, which we will again get to once we get to adventure. Now, this is going to be quite a long review. I may have to seriously cut this into pieces because this is quite complicated. But we'll go across to Sect. Everybody knows who's read a cultivation novel, your sect is important. A good sect is paramount. So when you start, you can only get 2. I'm not going to quit this sect because I'm currently at sub-leader. But bottom left, we have the cultivation room. The cultivation room's amazing. You have to first gain sect contribution points, which will start with when you're down in key gathering, you get 5 contribution and 5 reputation every 10 minutes in perpetuity until you level up to gold core, soul wandering, etc., etc. I'm currently at ascension 1, so I'm not going to change back to key gathering. That's just a waste. But you will need to do that as soon as possible. You need to join a sect as soon as possible and start getting that. That is a passive source of income for spirit stones and reputation. Now, the cultivation room you can do once a day. It increases your efficiency by 5 times. You will absolutely love. You will absolutely love it because you need it. Once a day, every 100 years. 100 years is 1 day, basically. And you can cultivate there once for 2.5 hours, which is 10 years. Or if you're the sub-leader, you can fight the sect leader in order to become the sub-leader, and that will double the time, so you get 5 hours. Now, the higher the sect you're in, the stronger the master is, which is another thing. Like, this is a beginning level sect, and this master is already a nascent soul 5, which is, as anyone who's read a cultivation novel, a hell of a lot higher than key gathering. So you're never going to beat the master until you've leveled up quite a bit. I have actually come down tiers to a low level sect just to beat the master, so I get double cultivation time, which is something that you can consider once you're further along. Now, you get a salary based, I've already claimed mine, but you get a salary based on your position in the sect. If you go to the sect elder, which is this little fella here, you can basically get a promotion. It goes from inner disciple, inherited retinue, and then custodian. Now, you need to be at least inner disciple in order to use the cultivation room. That's very important. You need 500 contributions for that. Very important. So that's Sect in a nutshell. And also, every time you promote, you can go to your master and ask to learn skills from him. Now, I've not bothered getting any skills from him because my skills are better. I came from a higher sect. I'm only here just to get cultivation XP, basically. But each of these will give you different things like increased attack, health. All of them will give you something good. The final one, when you're a custodian, will give you a different ultimate. Now, these ultimates are important in battle, and we haven't even got to battle yet, but we'll get there. Moving on to dwelling. Now, this is another complicated interface. It looks overwhelming to begin with. Now, you, as a key gathering, if you've just started this game, you're not going to be able to even bother with Talisman, Soul, and Meridian, so I'm going to leave that for the Ascendants YouTube video, because that is a whole nother barrel of fish that I need to talk about. So we'll start with Spiritual Mountain. Now, the Spiritual Mountain, very important. This is where, as we mentioned before, with the key gathering array, you will need wood and iron. You will need so much wood and iron. It is ridiculous. Now, a good rule of thumb is to always upgrade your food. As you can see, this 96, 95, 94. Available apprentices increase when I lower that. So the reason I don't have a production of 96 food at the moment is because wood costs 2 to produce. If I lower wood, my production of food goes up 2. If I lower metal or iron, my food production goes up 4. So every iron you want extra per 10 seconds, it will cost you extra food production. So you have to manage what you want the most. Now, I'm going mostly iron because that key gathering array, choose iron. But yeah, each available apprentice will increase in cost up to 4,000 food. You press this available apprentice button and you've hired an apprentice. Boom. The altar is at Golden Immortal. I am very far away from that, so we'll come back to that, I suppose. Fate, I'm going to leave for the Ascendants one, but I will briefly touch on it. This is basically, well, there's no easy way to say it. You have to keep an open mind when you come in here, because you have to give them gifts. Every day you can give every person you've met up to 3 gifts, which will increase their favour 10 every time, up to 30, 60, 90, and then 100. After you've reached 100 is very important, and this includes the male avatars as well. You need all of them. Every single one you meet, you need to get them to 100 favour, like 100%. Damn. So once you've got them to 100, you can take home. And that's when we get into the weird part, which is coupling. So you can go into this interface and you basically have to couple with them. And you can see at the bottom left, coupling increases experiences of alchemy. It'll help you increase your level in alchemy, basically, which is what you want low level, because you need to level up those skills. But the major point of coupling, and is absolutely paramount in ascending, is this ascend icon here. I can't ascend this because it's a pay to win character. I didn't know that when I got them, but that will be a very important servant once you ascend, but we'll get to that. Now, brewing, very simple. You buy booze and you don't need to, it's optional. You can drink up to 250 of these each, which doesn't seem like a lot, but it is when you can only make 3 a day. You're going to need ingredients to make them, and each one will give you an extra 10 strength, dexterity, vital energy, or life essence. Your choice, depending on the ingredients you have at hand, but it is useful to do 3 a day. It will make a difference in the long run. Now, moving into study room. This is a very important place, but you're not going to have it until you reach ensoulment. So once you reach ensoulment, you get a chance of studying books, basically. And these books will take time to read, I guess. But you get cultivation XP as well as enlightenment XP, which will help level up your enlightenment level. And that is important because, as you can see, there's a perception plus 110. Now, that is incredibly important. Like, the more perception you have, the faster you level. That's the simplest way to put it. And each time you read a book, you gain a bit of perception. A bit of enlightenment XP, sorry. Now, moving down into equipment room. Now, this is blacksmith, basically. Blacksmith and alchemy, it is expensive to level. Like, it's 10,000 spirit stones to level for one day. You get 10 XP roughly per year. So, you're going to get 1,000 XP a year. As you can see, I'm going to need 100,000 just to level. my blacksmith, which is absolutely huge. But you're going to go into Forge as a blacksmith, and you'll have all the things you can make down here. Level 1, you're going to have your voiding Li Huo mirror, but I will tell you how to get that back in the main screen. In your market, go across to the reputation hall, and you'll see armor plans. Now, the level 1 plans are obviously the top level. Now, this is a personal decision here. You can buy every single one of these if you want, but you have to bear in mind that reputation is very slow. It is super, super slow. I regret getting the level 4 and level 5 armor plans because it cost me so much reputation when I leveled so fast that the armor became redundant, that I just immediately skipped to 8. And even that I regret getting for 8,000 because I ascended shortly after that. And that's when you reach celestial armor, and you need a level 5 blacksmith for that. But the point is, if you are going to buy these armor plans, be prudent. Decide whether, level 1 is definitely worth buying because it's just cheap. Honestly, it's 300 for the lot. That's cheap. Level 2 even is worth it. But once you start getting into level 3, maybe it's worth it only to get the armor plan or the jewelry plan, and then you go to get the level 4 plan in order to mix and match your items so you don't have to get the whole set of a lower level when you can go higher. But items in general, we'll come back to Alliance because that is a very, I wouldn't say advanced, but as a key gatherer, it's going to be hard to get into an Alliance. That's really all I have to say. So adventure. Adventuring is incredibly important. Incredibly important. You need to adventure all the time. Basically all the time. As soon as you can unlock soul wandering, you need to. Basically, you need to be able to get the materials. So I'm currently at Mount of Immortals, which is the highest level pre-ascendance, and I can do it 28 times AFK. I can leave now. So as soon as you do it, you're probably going to be able to do it 4 or 5 times, maybe 6 times. Every time you go up a realm for Ascension, like for example, Ascension 8 for me, if I go to Ascension 9, I'll have 29 trips to go, whereas going to 6, you get 7, then 8, then 9, and so on. I'm not sure what that cap's at because it just keeps going, but I guess we'll see. Now, it is personal choice if you actually go into like Westmount, for example, which is where key gatherers are going to start, and you can manually run through it. That was a waste of food what I just did there, but going to Westmount, this is overkill for me. And you can explore. It's a giant grid basically. There's material scattered around. The further along you go, the more materials you get basically, and all these things here, monsters. You attack them, and it's a turn-based attack. I obviously completely overwhelmed these monsters, but as a key gatherer, it'll be a little fun fight. It's not grandiose. You're not going to see massive flashing colors. This is an AFK game. It's an idle game. But it is a brilliant. Like if you enjoy cultivation novels, you will enjoy this game if you're willing to take time to listen to this and get some tips at least. But as you go through these little battles, you'll eventually find there'll be a blue icon, and that's basically what Destiny is. And Destiny is this little left one here. You click Destiny and you'll encounter people, random AIs that will talk to you, and you have to choose an option to deal with it, basically. So for this guy, interesting treasure hunter. If you got to guess which hand he's got treasure in, I'm going left. Yeah, I won. All right, cool. So yeah, very simple. I need to get out of Westmount because there's a waste of time at my level. There we go. Alright, Soul Wandering, Mount of Immortals, Wander, and I meant to do 28. But we'll come back to that. So, Fortune Land is, again, AFK XP. Basically, you click Start, and you go through. It's a 3-hour process, and after the 3 hours, you get cultivation XP and pills. And everyone knows pills. We all love fucking pills around here. That was a terrible thing to say. But anyway, you can also rob the people around you, and that's something I would do if I had robbery times left, but I do not. But when you rob them, you take a percentage of what they earn over the 3 hours, and vice versa. Someone can rob you up to 20% of what you have. But yeah, simple, to the point. Beast is another one. You know, you got a level 1, and it'll be a different beast every day. Bottom here is you get your life essence pill. Each day will give you a different pill, basically, and you'll get beast nucleus and beast true pills. Now, the beast true pills, you can only use them after gold core, but they are basically just XP pills. You get cultivation base for using them. Beast nucleus, you go into redeem. Now, redeem is pretty straightforward, but I would recommend these books, right? Once you reach ensoulment, these books, if you're a free-to-play player, you will absolutely love these books, because when you read them, you get cultivation base and enlightenment XP, which will help you level up your study, and that's important for perception, because perception is important. Now, I have all of these because I am a hardcore free-to-player, and I needed it, basically. But yeah, going back, now fishing. Fishing is another thing. This is a straightforward process. You click on it. It costs spirit stones to enter. I'm not going to do it because there's not much point. But after you fish there, I'll give you an example. 4,000, that's not too bad. You cast the rod, and you fish. I mean, what more can be said? You got to time it so that you get your fish in time. If you waste a bait, you're going to feel bad because it costs 4,000 spirit stones to get in here, you know. I wish I could speed this up, but I can't. I have to do it. I apologize if you hear me tapping. I like to make sure that it hits the green, because these fish are expensive. Lovely and relaxing, eh? Okay, now that we've used up our 6 baits, we'll go out and we'll go into exchange. Now, for the key gatherer, you're going to only be able to get these first 5, which will be, if you manage to get 2 of these spirit fish, you pretty much made back the stones you've spent, 2,500 to get in the other one. So 2 of those, 2,400, you'll make it back. The others, you get your Sect contribution tokens, very useful. Reputation tokens if you manage to get 10 of those in a day, whoo, that I would consider that great. These beast nucleus ones are not the best fish to get, but you don't really have a choice on what fish you get, let's be honest. Alright, now moving out of adventure and up into event. Now, this is straightforward. It tells you what you need to do in order to get the reward. Like 5,000 years of cultivation. I'm at 3,000, like nearly 3,100, which is probably a lot. I'm just going into my mail. Don't ask what the ruins are. We're not in Ascendance yet, but we'll get there. Now, this reward from heaven is again part of Ascendance, but it's basically pay to win. It's just straight up pay to win. You have to top up. You know, we all know what top up means. It means we're not doing it. See, top up. It's terrible. Oh, God. Spirit Jade Hall. God, it's terrible. Now, the only thing I can say is that usually next to the black market icon is a little ad, right? So you can click on the ad, you watch the ad, you know, it's standard game, basically. You get a reward pack for doing it, and you open the reward pack and you sometimes get Spirit Jades. Now, I would highly recommend you get the Prajna Heavenly Book and the 8 Trigrams Heavenly Book and the mantras, if you can, if you manage to get that much. Because these Prajnas and 8 Trigrams will increase your efficiency. That is brilliant at any level you want it. The Prajna Mantra and 8 Trigrams Mantra will increase your absorption. Now, that will increase how much ki you get every 5 seconds, which is, again, useful. I'm going to level up wood. You see dexterity, life essence, strength, absorption, perception. Gold and wood are probably the best ones, but you need to level all of them just to get an even distribution of skills. Now, mail is pretty straightforward. You get mail when you get mail. You know, like, the demon invasion and dragon head raising at the left here near the tribulation, they're just basically events. I'm not going to get into those because they are, for lack of better words, pay to win. Let's be honest, they're pay to win. Heaven position, pay to win. Straight up pay to win. Enough said. Immortal market is also pay to win, basically. Just, pay to win. The boutique, you get 2 ads per day to use. And then you get a boutique key. You can open it for free instead of paying the spirit jade, and you can get some sick, cosmetics. Very, very cool if you manage to luck out these spell avatars. Look great. But besides the point, I will wrap up this first half of the review here because I'll quickly go into Praise Land. This is simple as well. You choose one. It does not matter which one you choose. You go into it and then you just click where it says already praised today and you'll receive spirit stones based on your current realm. Now, another thing just before I wrap this up, don't be afraid to push ahead on these things. Like after you pass Westmount, immediately go into Sunlit Hill. After you pass Sunlit Hill, just smash into Bear Cavern. Get as high as possible, as fast as possible. These places are going to be where you get your pills to get levels in your realm. Because when you try to ascend, it'll be 90%, I think, at key gathering. Maybe 80, not sure. But that goes down as you level up. But for ascension, it's at 30%, and I need a lot of pills. You get 5% per pill. These little blue pills, they're my ascension pills. And as long as you smash soul wandering all the time, you will have no lack of pills. And these blue pills and yellow, they're all stat pills. You eat them, you gain stats. Very simple. Now, you don't have to worry about having toxins from pills building up or anything like that. You'll be fine. Don't worry about it. Eat them like candy. But I did forget to go into alchemy. So alchemy, again, same leveling. Oh wow, I'm almost leveled on alchemy. Yeah, go on. God, that was expensive. So refining things, you refine pills. Down in level 1, you ideally, obviously you want to use as many pills as you can. As you can see, 50 out of 50 for everything. But each pill is going to give you something different. This is going to add one dexterity, and the rest will be that. Now, these anti-monster, demon, human, and dragon pills will increase your damage against their respective name, basically, which is helpful for not only ascendance, but is very helpful for soul wandering. And by soul wandering, I mean adventure, because there is all 4 kinds as you go through here. Now, I know some of you are going to be thinking like, oh, damn, like Foundation 5, I'm in the key gathering. I'm probably going to die. We can't fight across realms. And I'm telling you now, you can. You straight up can. You will be surprised. It doesn't follow an actual cultivation novel like that. You can smash past realms if you're statted up enough, shall we say. But yeah, I will leave this review here because this is dragging on. Jesus, nearly half an hour. Alright, I'm going to go. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Leave me a comment, if you want to know something more in depth. I will reply to it, I guarantee it. Yeah. I'll see you next time.